Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump announced yesterday evening. It was fantastic. We had an amazing live stream on this channel. And I'm going to tell you something that nobody's telling you, or perhaps very few people. He's going to win the nomination. He's going to win the nomination because the people who like DeSantis, I love DeSantis. But generally, the people who say DeSantis is better than Trump do so for one reason. Now, before I tell you, you can write in the comment section or just pause this right now. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. You could pause this and think, why do people truly like DeSantis? You could pause and then write your comment and then update your comment, whatever. The reason that people like DeSantis is because they are afraid, concerned, intimidated, worried, frustrated with the apoplectic and hysterical, borderline maniacal reaction to Trump by wonderful, morally superior, highly educated Democrats. That's not going to stop Trump from becoming nominee. No one can touch him, and I'll explain. I'll look at the RCP polls, and we'll talk about that. Trump as an underdog is even better than Trump, where he's expected to be victorious. Hit subscribe right now. We're on our way to 201,000 subscribers. But people who do not like Trump think that he creates the drama, and if he was just nice like DeSantis and just civil and diplomatic and presentable and the establishment was okay with him, that he would just be accepted by the New York Times, the Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, The Atlantic, Vanity Fair, Esquire, every other publication out there, BuzzFeed, Vice, every publication you could think of. And every regional, Arizona Republic, Los Angeles Times, Philadelphia Inquirer. I mean, people think that DeSantis is more palatable, more acceptable, but it is a framework, a rubric, a template that is used against Trump. Call him every name in the book and demonize and vilify him, sensationalize everything, fact check every nuance, even the semantics of the words he uses, fact check everything. Don't fact check Joe or Democrats, or barely do so, here and there. And don't have a running tally of Joe's lies, even though Joe's lies are far greater than anything Trump has ever said. He's going to get impeached, Biden, in the House of Representatives. And even the never-Trumpers need that. So when people say, oh, that'll never happen, no, the never-Trumpers do need that. Because then never-Trumpers can say, well, we're running against an impeached Joe Biden, and we're the best option. Hit subscribe to this channel because there's an emotional component to this. People are fearful. You like DeSantis, you fear their reaction to Trump. That's the truth. You don't have to be a psychologist or psychoanalyze anyone. It's the truth. Nobody said, hey, DeSantis won Florida. He's fantastic. But if you don't think if DeSantis wasn't there, Trump couldn't have won Florida as governor? Or anyone like DeSantis? So DeSantis is fantastic, but he's fantastic because he's like Trump. Not the other way around. Trump isn't wonderful because he's more docile like DeSantis. And so people are afraid. And share this segment everywhere because you have conservatives, and the National Review is very good. Washington Examiner is fantastic. The New York Post, I love the New York Post. But you have conservatives or people out there who don't understand that I was a lifelong liberal Democrat, progressive, left-leaning person. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. And the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. I'm not voting for anyone other than Trump. DeSantis wins, and depending on how he wins, I probably won't vote for him. If he just says, oh, you know what, let's be nice to Liz Cheney and never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and endless wars and military interventions, I'm open to that. And no, there's a reason that Pompeo or Cheney or anyone in the Lincoln Project can't win in the Republican Party. There's a reason why Paul Ryan and Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger are no longer there. Liz Cheney, by the way, and Adam Kinzinger voted alongside Trump, according to 538. 90 to 92% of the time, they're liars. They're the greatest liars in politics right now because they oppose Trump on military and foreign policy issues. They're more hawkish and militant, and they just revere anything that is leveled against Trump. By the way, Trump won 2 lawsuits against his niece and then against another high-ranking military official. Okay, and so he won 2 lawsuits recently. They don't have anything on him for January. Democrats are trying to stop him for leading an overthrow of... It never happened. Do you see what takes place with Trump? They accuse him of something he didn't do. They always engage in a leap of logic. Trump never said both sides, meaning the 1930s and 1940s Germans. He never meant those people. He meant conservatives who wanted to keep statues up. But if you listen to regular people, he said both sides. He said both sides. He never did. They twist and manipulate his words. It could do that to Desantis tomorrow. They have done that to Desantis. All of media hasn't been leveled at Ron DeSantis yet. There's no DeSantis dossier yet. It is a template, a rubric, a game plan that's utilized against Trump that now is utilized against any Republican. Anyone that is a threat, that is an obstacle to Democrats will be worse than Trump. Don't think that when people are afraid and they're frightened and they're fearful and they're concerned and worried that media and Democrats will just go ree too loudly. They'll go ree too loud. What happens if they go ree too loudly? DeSantis is better. This way they won't screech so loud. That's not the way it works. DeSantis will be worse than Trump. There will be articles in The Atlantic, at least Trump did this. DeSantis is worse. We never thought we'd say this, the New York Post or the New York Times and Washington Post, but DeSantis is worse than Trump. And go ahead and primary Trump. If you look at RCP, right now, he's up 1 over mashed potato brains Joe Biden, but the RCP average right now is Biden 0.2 up. Now, listen to this. The National Review and others say, well, Trump lost Georgia. Oh, really? In 2016, he lost Georgia and Arizona? What were Republicans doing, National Review and others, for 4 years? Richard Burr with a Senate panel backing the intelligence community assessment that Russia, helped and interfered. Do you think that Democrats have a panel now with Hunter? You can't investigate. This is what the National Review and others in Washington Examiner don't understand. And those are great publications. You can't investigate a Republican president for 4 years. And I don't care if you revere intelligence agencies. I don't care if you truly think that the Kremlin had an influence operation, even though the influence would have been to inform everybody that Bernie Sanders was cheated in the Democratic primary. That's the reason that the DNC emails were said to have been hacked, okay? They managed to market their own corruption into an assault by another country on our democracy. And our democracy, meaning cheating Bernie Sanders. I mean, you investigated with the Mueller probe, with Jeff Sessions, who recused himself, with people like Mitch McConnell, who just stood aside. And Republicans were more than happy to have a Mueller probe to tarnish and undermine Trump's presidency. And then after 4 years, Trump says a couple of things. You could say, let's just say, well, they weren't true. They weren't true. Biden says that routinely, and Democrats walk in lockstep. But you said that he said a lot of things that weren't true. Okay, and that cost Georgia. No. Leading up to Georgia and Arizona, the Republicans weakened their own political party by going after a Republican president, joining with media and Democrats, and then they blame Trump. I mean, you're talking about imbeciles. They don't know how to win. They don't want to win. They'd rather lose with Democrats. I saw this. Democrats wanted to lose with Clinton. These parties would rather lose than let a person like Bernie Sanders, who, by the way, is basically part of that establishment. Trump is not part of the Republican establishment. There's the difference. rally with Trump, and you win, and you do in democracy, same democracy. One thing Trump has to do is embrace and acknowledge and accept early voting, and Republicans have to have the same machinery as Democrats. You play the same game, and no more complaining. And then Democrats and the ladies at the View will complain when Republicans play the same democracy game. No more complaining. But Trump is a runaway freight train now. Get in his way and see what happens politically. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Share this. It's a really important segment. Share this with anyone who likes DeSantis. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. I'll be